Hey, what's up guys? Good morning. I want to talk about financial markets today because it's a big red day in the crypto markets and it looks like it's had a little trickle down effect in the stock market, guys. And I don't want this video to go on for like an hour, so I'll try to be kind of concise and you'll need to follow up and do some of your own research if the things that I'm saying don't make a lot of sense. But I do want to just put this out there as an update because I'm sure, a lot of the people that watch my channel that create these cash generating income streams, which by the way are extremely important. You know what I mean? Like, so many people have lost sight of the fact that like being able to generate your own money is, till the beginning of time, has pretty much been important. The only thing that supersedes this is like being able to like have enough food and water for you and your family, right? Besides that, like you need to generate some wealth and participate in the commerce system. And that's what we talk about on this channel, how to generate money, how to generate cash. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys then take some of that money, myself included, and put it in financial markets in hopes to either multiply it or at a minimum, keep pace with inflation. And that's what a lot of the financial market exposure does for us, guys. This is something that like I deep dove so hardcore. I know you guys on the other end of this watching me think like, oh, I must like watch print on demand stuff all day and only do like my Amazon stuff. And no, the reality is like I have that TV above my 3 computer monitors. I listen to finance stuff and I listen to a lot of what you would call truth community stuff, as in like I don't listen to mainstream media propaganda. I go straight to the peer-reviewed medical studies and data, and that's strictly what I base my entire understanding of reality on. Okay, peer-reviewed clinical studies and data, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about financial markets, but they're very well intertwined, guys, extremely intertwined, because it gives you if you actually know reality, like, you know what I mean? It's like you're like Neo in the Matrix in a world where everybody's watching the mainstream media and has no clue what's actually happening in the world. But I wanted to talk about, again, financial markets. Why is everything selling off today? Guys, I don't think that things necessarily sell off due to Elon Musk tweeting. You know what I mean? People that still believe that today are just in for a rude awakening. That's not necessarily how things work, guys. Like, you gotta learn if you're gonna have exposure to financial markets with a significant portion of your wealth, which I know is most people, because there's this innate thing inside of us humans where we want like all or nothing for some reason. Like somehow it's like we'll show up to a job every day that we probably don't want to be at, for most of us generally speaking, and trade our time for money and commute back and forth, sit in traffic, that whole thing that we used to do prior to like last year. And it's like just to make money and then on an impulse, on a whim, throw it into something called Doge. I'm not hating on Dogecoin, but you know what I mean? Like a cryptocurrency that most people don't even know anything about, with an infinite supply that's only worth what someone's willing to pay. You know what I mean? And as we see market caps increasing, we are called, paper millionaires. Like, it's like, imagine if you bought 100 Dogecoin or 100 Bitcoin or 100 whatever. If you're still valuing it in terms of USD, you're thinking like, oh, I'm a Dogecoin millionaire. Well, are you still holding the same amount of Dogecoin that you bought initially a month later? Because now it looks like people are willing to buy that off your hands for a lot more money. But if you're still holding the same amount of Dogecoin, nothing actually changed. Until you exit your position, you're kind of a paper millionaire. You need to convert that back into the like underlying asset that you're talking about in relation to being a millionaire, which is typically USD, right? And USD's gotten absolutely slaughtered. There's a chart called DXY, Google DXY TradingView. And you can actually see, it's called the dollar index. You can see how your dollars have been devalued. So anybody that's just got cash in the bank, you may see the same amount of cash in the bank, but your buying power has been diminished. That's why you get exposure to things like financial markets. The easiest way to do that's probably, there's an ETF called the SPY. Okay, if you want to be a passive investor, you can buy this ETF called the SPY, the SPY. And what it does is, when you invest money in there, they buy the underlying 500 companies and they equally weight their exposure to each company per the weight of that company to the S&P 500. So it's a really long-winded way of saying, like, if you buy the SPY, it's like buying the S&P 500. Okay, so no one company going up or down should make that big of a difference to the performance of your portfolio, because you have exposure to a lot of companies. Now, the reason I'm saying like it shouldn't, but it might, is because if you actually like kind of follow on a day-to-day basis what's happened this last year, it's kind of crazy because single companies have been able to kind of push the entire market around at times. Like Tesla has been absolutely crazy, a crazy driver of this at times over the last year, but this is getting into the weeds now, so I'll get back on. Why are things crashing today? It's not necessarily because Elon Musk tweeted, guys. What's propped up these financial markets a lot lately have been margin debt, fake money, okay? And that's in relation to, I'd say, the stock market, but also a lot of it in crypto where, you know, leverage, margin debt, whatever you want to call it. Basically taking out loans against your underlying assets. So if you buy a $10,000 in Bitcoin, you know, some of these exchanges will let you trade with 10x leverage using the $10,000 Bitcoin that you had as collateral. That works great if things move up, but as soon as they stagnate or go down, you get forced, if they call it margin calls, you get liquidated out of your position. And I'm not talking about you necessarily. You just got to keep in mind that, like, you know, most people watching aren't using margin, I'm sure. You're not using leverage, but like other people are. And if you use leverage, think of the weight. If you buy $10,000 of Bitcoin and they buy $10,000 and lever it up to 100,000, the weight of their exposure is 10x yours. And when they get margin called and forced out of their position, it closes out a $100,000 position instead of a $10,000 position, and the downward pressure on the market, it's vast, you know what I mean? And what happens is there can be a cascade of margin calls. We've seen this before. It was like March of 2020, we saw it happen in the stock market. We saw it happen in crypto markets 4 years ago. And if you look at crypto markets, it's basically a 4-year cycle, isn't it? It's like 2013, 2017, 2021. So it's not like this stuff wasn't easy to see coming, guys. And if anybody who's been paying attention to my videos, anytime I talk about crypto on my main channel, on my finance channel, and I don't know, it's not like I know it all. I'm not trying to say I know it all, guys, but it's like, if you're gonna tie up some of your net worth and have exposure to these financial assets, like, you just gotta study them. And you know, I hate Twitter, but like financial Twitter is a great place. And by the way, my recommendation, follow the bears. Don't follow the bulls. Everybody's a genius in a bull market. Follow the bears. Okay, not all bears are smart. You gotta kind of like thin down so the people you think are really smart. Now, I have people that I think are really smart, just my personal opinion, and I hit the little bell icon on Twitter, and every time they tweet, I read what they say, because to me, it's worth the follow. It's worth cataloging that information in my brain. And one of the biggest things I've been warning about is May 19th. I've said it on this channel, you know what I mean? Even on this channel, because I'm like, hint, hint, guys, you know, I know if I was on the other end of my videos and somebody I looked up to and respected said, by the way, May 19th, it's like we're talking about t-shirts, but I'm like, oh, crypto t-shirt, PS, guys, May 19th, be careful, watch this video. How many of you guys clicked it? I know some of you did, because you told me. You know, and I'm not saying that even the reason that I said May 19th, by the way, that's not even why things are crashing right now. I think things can crash a lot lower if what I talked about with respect to May 19th comes to fruition. And that's that, you know how I talked about the financial, the stock market being propped up with a lot of margin debt. Like, there's an equivalent of that in the crypto market, except it's not even margin debt, so it won't get margin called and have this like immediate cascade down of forced selling, even though there's a lot of that happens too. It's Tether. Tether is like the US, it's supposed to be represented 1-to-1 by USD. Okay, so if you keep swapping crypto for USD, you know, every time you first of all, guys, full disclaimer, and I don't want this video to go on forever, I'm gonna try to wrap it up soon, but like, when you make any swap in crypto, it could be crypto for crypto, that's a taxable event, all right? So I'm just getting that out of the way up front. But if you swap crypto for USD, it's like a 100 million%, you better be paying taxes on that, basically. It better factor into your capital gains, you know, disclosures when you file taxes the next year, okay? So instead of people constantly trying to get into USD, which is a lot more complicated, they make these stable coins that are supposed to be representative of a US dollar. So Tether is the biggest one. The market cap's at like almost 60 billion, I think, or at 60 billion now. That means that there's supposed to be $60 billion of paper USD in the coffers, the bank vaults of Tether, which there is not even a chance in hell. There's 0% chance that's even remotely close to being true. And they got in trouble with the New York Attorney General, what was it, like 3 months ago, 90 days ago? So there was this 90-day countdown to when they're supposed to hand over their papers and disclose to the New York Attorney General's office what Tether's actually backed by. And that's when I said, hey, May 19th, be careful. You know, I even said to a family friend just a couple days ago, I was like, you may want to have short exposure to Coinbase stock, you know, buy put options against it on May 18th. If nothing happens, sell it on the 19th, or don't sell it on the 19th, sell it on the 20th, right? So go full short yesterday, close out your positions today if something happens, which, by the way, Coinbase is, all the like crypto stock plays are down like, what are they down? They're down like 12% before I left my computer to come make this video. Do you know how much, if you use options, do you know how much money that's gonna make you, a 12% move overnight? Absurd. absurd, okay? So anybody that followed my advice, congrats. But I'm just saying that, like, this isn't even the crash. If Tether discloses that $60 billion of Tether, which, by the way, that doesn't mean go to the crypto total market cap and subtract 60 billion. That's not what it means. Because 60 billion, when you pump that into an asset, like there was a day where it pumped into Dogecoin. Everybody's like, oh my God, Dogecoin, people must have caught on. No, it was Tether inflows. It's on the blockchain, you can see this stuff. I don't know, I could keep going, but it's like, guys, like if you don't understand the stuff and it sounds like it's too good to be true, it typically is. You just gotta be smart. Like I'm sure a lot of you guys got out, whether it was because I did warning signs or because you just said, hey, this is enough money for me, I'm happy. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel like you lost a lot of money right now. And like, it sucks, but you know, obviously there's gonna be plenty of other days to invest. My biggest advice is like, if you're gonna have and also know what your net worth is. Most people don't know what their net worth is. Calculate it. I calculate mine on the 1st of every month. And it's itemized line by line. So I know exactly what performed well, what didn't, percentage changes, etc. When you know that, you know the weight of your exposure to different financial assets. If something becomes way too big, sell some of it off. You can take what you sell off, and again, you can keep the USD, or you can reinvest it into other stuff, but like you gotta make these, or you know, you don't have to actually. What's probably smarter is like focus on generating cash and trust a financial professional to do this for you. The only problem is like, there aren't even that many financial professionals that know this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm a YouTuber that talks about print on demand. I know more than most, all right, I'm gonna sound stuck up. I shouldn't say that, but like, I guarantee you I know more than a lot of them, okay? And it's because like, again, you just gotta find smart people that have no vested interest in telling you things. You know what I mean? Like you can believe what they say or not, right? But like, as long as they use sound logic and data to back what they say, and this applies to financial markets, it applies to life. Okay, this is me giving you like serious, real talk. Anybody that's still watching, seriously, like this is the biggest takeaway from this video. In life, like, don't listen to like, I don't know. I always want to say, don't listen to people reading a teleprompter, staring at a camera. Okay, don't listen to them. Listen to people that know what they're talking about, that have no vested interest in you believing what they say, that are just doing something because they're passionate about it and because they actually do their due diligence. And again, use like real logic and real data. Okay, that's like so important because like, what happens before every market crash? You see full mania on like the TV, for instance. I hate the TV, guys. Turn that off. And they're like, yeah, we need to get everybody in, and then the rug gets pulled. This happens all the time. Nothing that's happening today is special, and this doesn't necessarily have to be like the crash. I don't think it is the crash. I think eventually the Tether disclosure comes, and then we see a real crash, guys, like 50%. By the way, I didn't even mention, I was up till like 1:30 in the morning last night, like literally liquidating a bunch of my crypto positions because it didn't make sense for me to be holding coming into today. You know, and I mean, you can probably see it on my face. I am pretty darn tired, but I'm gonna get back to my computer. I don't know. I don't even know why I knew I was gonna go on a rant today. Because like, man, I feel bad. Like I know a lot of people got their paper, whatever you want to call it, paper money wiped out. You know what I mean? It's like I was saying though, if you bought $100 worth of Dogecoin 3 months ago, and you still have let's just say you had 100 Dogecoins, and then today you still have 100 Dogecoins, what changed? Nothing changed, right? So please don't feel like you were some millionaire and now you're not anymore. Nothing changed. You know what I mean? Like you gotta learn how to like kind of dollar cost average out of positions, basically. The same way you dollar cost average into positions. Don't tie up too much of your net worth into any one position, and like study like crazy if you are going to have a lot of exposure to financial assets that you may not understand, guys. It's kind of reckless not to. So anyways, that's what I want to talk about. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.